Now we come to the nitty-gritty of what is the economy of the glaucoma, how much the cost to the patient, to the society, and how does it impact the people. So we have had exciting time in the glaucoma treatment. We had a lot of new drugs coming in the last decade or 2 decades, like prostaglandin, prostasamide, decosanoids, and of course alpha-adrenergic agonist and topically instilled carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, plus a lot of combinations. Mind you, all the combinations are with the timolol, and you can't give them to the patients who have got some contraindication to the timolol. So we have all talked about the economic data, of course, is very limited in the glaucoma in this area. This is important from the point of view of provider, patient, payer, and society at large. We can actually calculate the cost of the treatment, theoretical cost of treatment. We can say, let's say a vial contains 5 ml of drug. We just calculate the number of drops in the vial, and then we calculate the cost of 1 drop. And then, of course, we extrapolate it to the dosing pattern and calculate the cost of daily cost, yearly cost, and we can also calculate the monthly cost of the treatment. So the drug manufacturers had devised several ways to counter the effects of wasting with many methods, like overfilling of the bottle design. And one of the most important things is the bottle design. There are bottles, once you press the bottle, 3-4 drops will come at a time. The product may be cheaper, but it may ultimately be more expensive to the patient in the long term. So what we did was we analyzed the different. We don't have any generics in India for glaucoma except for timolol maybe. What we have is a branded generics. So we calculated the cost of the treatment, yearly cost and the monthly cost. We didn't go into the wastage factor that we didn't count on. What we found was, this is the cost of the drops per ml. This was number of drops per ml of the vial. You can see the number of drops in a vial can vary widely, right from the 15 drops per ml to 34 drops per ml. Now the good vials will have about 30 to 34 vials per ml, whereas another poor vial may have 14 drops per ml. Generally, the proprietary preparations, especially prostaglandin, they have inverted cone design, which distance the drop size from 20 to something like 20 microliter or so. Drop size can vary from 20 microliter to 70 microliters, where the capacity of cul-de-sac is only 7 microliters. So that explains the smallest drop is sufficient, even less than 20 microliter would be sufficient for the eye. And you can see across the different brands, you can see that the large variation. Top, you can see the Travoprost. Some companies giving you 21 drops per ml, whereas one good proprietary company giving you 34 drops per ml. Similarly, if you look at the timolol, generally they tend to have lower number of drops per ml. And again, you see the different kind of drops. And so the number of drops per ml effectively translates into the cost of the medication. So what we did then was we calculated theoretically the cost of treatment per day with these drugs, Like we took different brands, we calculated the cost per day. As I told you, let's say if you need brimonidine twice a day, you will need 2 drops, cost of 1 drop into 2 and give you the daily cost. So daily cost can vary. You can see the lower end we have beta blockers, which are probably the cheapest drug option today. And then of course we have brimonidine is little more expensive. And surprisingly, you find at the top there is dorzolamide. And dorzolamide is one of the most expensive drugs in the market today because it has to be tedious dosages there. And your patient ends up using 3 vials a month normally. And whereas you see with the prostaglandins, sometimes the cost is pretty reasonable with some brands. And this is cost per year. So cost per year for one drug can vary from 423 rupees, something like with beta blocker, to something like 8,000 per year on single drug only. So this is how the costing affects the patient basically. And this is the cost per day, the different drugs. Now you see at the bottom there is Travoprost. The cost per day with different brand varies from something like 4 rupees to 23 rupees. Similarly with timolol, the cost is of course the least. Whereas if you see with Latanoprost, again cost can vary from 6 rupees to 17 rupees. So we have proprietary drugs, branded generics. The cost varies widely across the continuum. And this is cost per year in the same expansion of the same thing into this. But if I want to show you as a this plot, you can see that the cost of the beta blocker is the lowest, between 400 to 1,000 rupees. This is a cost of 1 year of treatment for 2 eyes, not taking wastage factor into account. Then we have alpha agonists, which are a little more expensive, 1,000 to something like 3,500 per year. And of course, PG analogs, 800 to about something like 5,500 rupees per year is the cost for therapy, single drug. And then we have carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, which tend to be the most expensive agents, whereas you may not think about it that way. And if you see the combinations, you see all the combinations I told you, they are with the timolol. The cost goes pretty high because all the drugs other than timolol are pretty expensive. So timolol with brimonidine will cost something like 1,000 to 4,500, and second is timolol with prostaglandin in the blue. Then the cost of timolol with dorzolamide in the green, and timolol with brinzolamide. So this is the cost of combination if you give two drugs individually. Now if you see here, the point that I am just trying to make here is that timolol is, I told you, the cheapest brand that we have in the market today. And if you combine it with any of the drugs, and unfortunately if your patient is probably having any contraindications to beta blocker, you have to prescribe brimonidine or prostaglandin or prostamide, or you have to prescribe any carbonic anhydrase inhibitor topically instead. The cost is very, very high. The cost goes exponentially high. So that is one of the problems with these drugs, Then of course this was a study where we studied prescription patterns. So most often prescribed in the red are the 66% beta blocker, 55% had prostaglandin. It's more than 100% was somewhere on multiple therapies. Now the number of patients with POAG in both eyes, we did one study, that you can see that patients with treatment on one eye versus two eyes, of course the cost will go higher. Now this is one slide, which says it all. Patients on one drug, the cost per day ranges is maybe 4 let's talk about yearly cost on the extreme corner. The yearly cost for one drug will be something like 1,554. That was our average cost in a study of 100 prescriptions in our institute. Those patients who were in two drugs, the average cost was 3,000 rupees per year. Patients on three drugs, the cost went up to 5,500 rupees per year, and average cost was 3,000. So on an average, a glaucoma patient will end up spending 3,000 rupees per year on the treatment. And mind you, this is not taking wastage factor into account. The wastage factor has a big role to play in this. And now this is the cost of drugs. Now if we prescribe timolol and brimonidine individually, the range of the cost, like you can see from this chart, it's evident combinations are much cheaper drug options. So combination should be preferred. They have least side effects. The preservative related side effects are less, and patient is probably more compliant, and there's a quality of life improves because drugs don't have to be instilled very frequently. So this is what this study was all about. Now what are the factors that affect the cost of treatment? One is MRP, obviously, and second is poor bottle and tip design volume. Some patients may underfilling. The tip design may 4 or 5 drops may come out. Sometimes larger drop size may in reality cost more. So the cost evaluation of the medication must take into consideration factors other than the MRP of the medication itself. Beta blockers remain the cheapest drug. Prostaglandin analogs and prostamides have high efficacy, favorable safety profile, ease of once daily regime, and often reasonable on a cost per basis. Ultimately, the goal of eye care providers is to give the best, most cost-effective care to the patient. Drug efficacy, tolerability, medication response, compliance, and dosing regimes are the factors. So what are the side effects of prescription drugs in glaucoma? Well, they are confusion, anger, and continued financial strain on the patient. This is an article which was on perspective on quality of life, where we studied the effect of these drugs on the patient's quality of life, you can see so many side effects these drugs have. Burning, redness, almost everything that you can think of as a side effect in ophthalmic eye is there, except maybe part uveitis. The only limitation of this study was that this questionnaire was not intended to bring out the side effects of prostaglandins. So there are some other side effects now which we are seeing with the prostaglandin. This COMDOR questionnaire has not been modified for that. So compliance issues are there in the medical therapy: forgetfulness, complex treatment regime, chronic use of medication, so on and so forth. Like for example, a study using pilocarpine and electronic monitoring device, they found that 15.2% patient omitted at least 50% of doses, and 6% of patient omitted at least 75% doses. So you can see how non-compliant patient can be, and that will lead to ultimately progression, and you can see in the terms of progression. Early now, should we go for medical therapy? It is expensive, compliance is poor, fair across the table in large number of patients. So early surgical intervention has been advocated by EGC. This approach was initially supported by a study from Scotland. They compared 116 patients who were randomized to either trabeculectomy at diagnosis or initial medical therapy, followed by trabeculectomy in unsuccessful cases. No difference in visual acuity was detected, but greater visual field loss was found in patients with initial medical therapy. The investigator suggested that this was due to delay of surgery, whereas medical therapy was modified in patients with minimum visual field loss at diagnosis. To conclude, medical treatment of glaucoma impacts quality of life and may be a financial strain, and seasonal glaucoma surgery is successful in 70 to 80% patients in reducing IOP and preserving vision. It is frequently eliminates or reduces the need of anti-glaucoma medications, reducing ocular side effects, compliance problems, and the ongoing cost of treatment. However, glaucoma surgery has become safer with better understanding of lab dynamics and new emerging surgical paradigms. Therefore, the recommendation for surgery should include an extensive discussion with the patient and the proposed procedure, the post-operative management, necessity to maximize success, and the potential complication. There is definitely a case for a surgery at the first line treatment option. Thank you.